Feel free to take a screenshot of this, snap a little picture or something like that. Great resources here. We do have Steven Bissinger and Joe Urban, who are both master plumbers. Steve's out of New Jersey and Joe is out of Pennsylvania. They are fantastic resources for plumber to plumber interaction. They're great guys. So feel free to reach out to anyone on this page. Just wanted to share that with you before we get started. All right, so Cooper, you think we're ready to just jump right in?
I think so, yep.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So for the first half of this, we're going to focus on two different products before I switch it over to Tracy. So we're going to be talking about the ProTerra, which is our 5th generation hybrid heat pump water heater. And then we'll spend a few minutes talking about our Marathon product as well. So ProTerra, we're really, really excited about this. Just came out with this year in May. It officially launched. It's already we've already started shipping to wholesale and retail. So really 3 categories that we're looking at when we're talking about ProTerra. So it is a heat pump water heater. It is smart, sustainable, and offers significant savings to the homeowner, to utility companies. It's a fantastic product. So what do we mean when we're talking about smart? So we have added leak guard, auto shutoff, leak sense detection, integrated Wi-Fi in all models, remote control, compressor and element health, and hot water availability. And really quick, before we move on, so this is kind of more of a brief overview because we're talking about a lot of different products today, all different electric solutions. If you need more in-depth information or if you want a training that goes more in-depth, connect with me, connect with Tracy, and we can get you that more technical approach to it. We can certainly answer any technical questions today, but it's not going to be as technical in nature just because we're trying to cover a lot of different offerings all at once. So it's going to be more of a high-level overview, but certainly if you have technical questions, feel free to jump in. All right, so smart, right? We've added a lot of really cool features that we're going to talk about in a little bit. So we're talking about this leak detection system. So if you are familiar with our older 4th generation models, we use this rope right here for the leak detection wire. So now what we've done is on the integrated systems, there is now this wick down at the bottom. It actually absorbs the water. Then it communicates to the cable and lets the water heater know that there is a leak detected. So what this does in order to prevent catastrophic damage, we have that leak occur. It takes about 15 seconds to notify our auto shutoff. Within that, it creates a vacuum type seal so that no more than 24 ounces of water can escape from the water heater. Auto shutoff closes that, closes the valve, and then we can get the notification sent to the homeowner or to the business owner, and you can see it lets them know, hey, there was a leak detected with your water heater. Then that notification can also be forwarded to the contractor to let them know, and they can set up an appointment to come out and look at it. All right, so we have added compressor and element health. So this is brand new to these newer 5th generation units. What this does, it's looking at the amp draw on the components, and it can let you know if your element health is good or bad, if your compressor health is good or bad. And then there's also a feature, which we'll talk about in a little bit of test mode, that will allow someone who is servicing the unit to identify specifically which component is not functioning properly for a quick turnaround time on a service call. We do have hot water availability. So I really like this feature. Maybe it's because I hate taking cold showers. So I liken this to the battery on your phone, right? It lets you know how much power is left on your phone. And so this is kind of giving you a good approximate of how much hot water is left in the tank. So it's not going to give you an exact percentage. Like it's not going to say, hey, you have 57.5% of your tank left. It'll give you 25% increments so you know approximately how much hot water there is. So 25, 50, 75, up to 100% capacity in the tank. We did add in maintenance alerts. So that was something that a lot of people had asked for when we said, hey, you get a filter that's going to be cleaned periodically. They said, well, I really wish that there was an alert that would just let me know, kind of like my car has an oil change light. Or for me, I get notifications on my phone that lets me know, hey, you're at 20% of your oil. You need to schedule a change pretty quick. So we've done that now with the filter. Really, this is probably the only thing that's going to be regularly serviced in these water heaters. Typically about once a year. It needs to be cleaned out. Just kind of rinse it off, pop it back in. You don't have to purchase a replacement. Just pull out the same one, put it back in again after you clean it. So I did mention we have Wi-Fi now in all of our units. We're really excited about this. A lot of Rheem products, I believe some of the Emax products also have what we call EcoNet. That's basically our Wi-Fi platform. That's something that's really, obviously becoming very popular, right? Everyone's very much all about the smartphones, right? I can pay my bills on my smartphone. My car sends me updates on my smartphone. I can even turn on my car on and off right from my smartphone. So that ability to control products from the phone is becoming really important to customers. So we do have an app, EcoNet app. This is what you can do from the EcoNet app with this water heater. So you can see you're allowed to do scheduling. So for every day of the week at different time slots, you can put it in a different set temperature. And you can also put it in a different mode of operation. So there's a lot of customization that can go on with that. Usage reports, so you can know how many kilowatt hours you've used per day, week, month, or year. Product health, so we talked about it. You can actually look at those different components. Then obviously you can change your set points, right? So change the temperature, change your mode of operation. You can put it in vacation settings. There's a lot of features that go along with this. All right, so that's smart, right? We talked about smart. We saw all of the options that are available, which is, becoming really, really important nowadays with this connected culture that we have. So we have sustainability. So obviously really important when we're looking at achieving those state energy goals. Anyone who's building a house that is like net zero, looking for a LEED or a HERS rating, something like that, or maybe an Energy Star rated home, or even just for someone who just wants to do the right thing and help out the environment. This is going to be a great product for that. So by sustainable, it's the highest efficient that's available at up to a 4.0 UEF, significantly reduces the carbon footprint. You can track your energy usage, and it is Energy Star rated. So what do we mean when we say it reduces the carbon footprint? A lot of times, people are throwing around terminology. We kind of sort of understand what it means, but this is going to give us a quick breakdown of what that looks like. So on the right, we see a standard 50-gallon electric water heater. On average per year, it emits about 3,486 pounds of CO2. So in order to offset that, we would have to plant about 202 trees. That would offset those carbon emissions. On the left, we have the ProTerra 50-gallon, and again, on average per year, about 846 pounds of CO2 per year. That is a 75% reduction in energy usage and a 75% reduction in pounds of CO2 per year. So when you're looking for the greatest impact or positive impact on the environment, this is going to be probably the best solution for that. So I did mention we were talking about solar a little bit. So we know solar has become very popular. I think Vermont has done a great job promoting solar. New York's done a great job promoting solar. So when we're looking at combining products with solar and what's going to fit, obviously electric is going to fit pretty well, right? Bottom, we have a standard electric water heater, uses almost 10 solar panels to run. On the top, we have a heat pump water heater, needs about 2.5 solar panels to run. So again, if you're looking for a product that's going to combine well or mesh well with solar, the heat pump is a great option for that. So something else to keep in mind. All right, so we talked about it, sustainability, it's smart, and now savings. So it's going to, we already talked about it saves energy. It's going to save money because it's saving energy. We do have an energy saving schedule. We also have what's called a JA13, which if you're involved with utility companies, it's a way that a utility company can provide a standardized platform for scheduling so that anyone within their territory could use that schedule to maximize efficiency. We do have built-in demand response availability and then a vacation setting. So a quick look at savings. If you're familiar with the energy guides, they offer an approximate cost per year to run that appliance. So on average, national average, a little over $400 a year to run a standard 50-gallon electric water heater. On the left side, we see a little over $100 a year to run the 50-gallon heat pump water heater. And so something that I like to point out in these trainings is when you're looking at that first hour rating or that first hour delivery, 67 to 57, they're pretty close, pretty comparable. So we want to make sure we're comparing apples to apples. And the reason I say that is because, if we're comparing over here now, we're looking at a gas-fired water heater. So on the right, that first hour delivery is significantly higher at 76. So we compare that over here on the left to an 80-gallon heat pump water heater, which gives you about 89 gallons for that first hour rating. So again, pretty comparable first hour rating. So with that, we can look at gas, again, national average, $284 a year. We look at an 80-gallon heat pump water heater, $150 a year to run. So again, even in areas that dominate with gas, we find that across the country, 80-gallon heat pump would be a great option if you were trying to, again, reduce that carbon footprint and reduce a lot of those emissions going out into the atmosphere. All right, so we kind of gave a nice overview of the benefits of why we're really excited about this product. So now I want to talk about kind of how it works and what is the technology behind that. So first, it's a heat pump water heater. So we can see this top portion right here is the heat pump head, and then this bottom portion down here is a standard electric water heater. Okay. So first, we're just pulling in room temperature air. Ambient air is pulled into the unit. Heat is then absorbed by the evaporator coil, right? Then the compressor is going to increase the temperature of the refrigerant. That heated refrigerant is pumped into the condenser coil, and then that heat is transferred from that coil to the water inside of the tank. So this is really nothing new. This is technology that we've seen around for a while, right? So in your house, fridge, freezer, air conditioning unit, HVAC unit, all of that's using the same type of technology. The only difference is instead of creating a cooling effect, we're now creating a heating effect. So we're kind of doing, I guess, the reverse, if you will. Oh, this is a little stuck here. There we go. So if you were familiar with our 4th generation platform, we had 2 offerings. We had a builder model and a prestige model. So now we've added a 3rd offering. So we're looking really at more of a good, better, best offering. So we give more variety and more options for our customers to choose from. So we still have the builder model. What we've done is we've expanded the platform. So we have a 40-gallon that's available now, the only one available on the market in a 40-gallon. I think it's going to be a really good fit, that 40-gallon, for multifamily or for a smaller home that only has a single bathroom, maybe 2 to 4 people living in it. Really 2 to 3 people living in it. You can get away with that 40-gallon. But again, especially in those multifamily situations where you have that single bathroom, 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, that's going to be a good fit for that. So some other things we've done, we've added in the Wi-Fi to every single unit. So any hybrid heat pump water heater that's Rheem or Ruud branded is going to have the Wi-Fi built into it. This particular model is a NEA Tier 3, and it does come leak detection ready. So then that was our good. Now we look at our better, the ProTerra. It's going to be what we saw in the builder model, except this is going to have a higher UEF, up to 4.0 on the 80-gallon. It does come demand response ready. This will offer leak detection and shutoff valve ready, and this meets NEA Tier 4, which we'll talk about in a second. And then ProTerra with leak guard, so it's everything from the ProTerra. The difference is this one is going to have the leak detection wick incorporated with it, as well as an auto shutoff. So really quick, we have a couple of pro tips built into this presentation, just for a lot of times these questions come up quite a bit in trainings. So recirculation, we get asked a lot about running recirculation with these. So just keep in mind, if you're going to run recirculation, the units should be programmed to be in high demand mode for the best results. So just because of the smart technology that's going on, if you don't have it in high demand mode, you're not going to get the best results on that. So really quick on that NEA Tier 4, for those who aren't familiar, there's different platforms, right? You have Tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to, I believe, Tier 6. So in the Tier 4 setting, there's a few things that we did in order to get that. But one of the most important features I like to talk about in the Northeast is the fact that on a Tier 4, in a cold climate test, these units will still maintain a 3.0 UEF or better. So that means when when your temperature is probably somewhere around 45 to 50 degrees for your ambient air and that colder water is coming in, it's still going to maintain a 3.0 UEF. So we're really proud of the fact that we hit that Tier 4, especially for the Northeast, where we know that probably 3 to 4 months of the year we're hitting that cold climate. And so to be able to still offer the best efficiency in that colder climate we're really proud of that. So that was just a little bit about Tier 4. All right, so our good, better, best builder model, right? So we have it available in the 40, 50, 65, and 80. Just know that on the builder model, the model number is always going to end in the BM for builder model. So you see on the left, I said that we can add a leak sensor to that. So there is a kit available. Quick pro tip on all of our models, not just the builder model, but if the heat pump is inoperable, so it's not running within the recommended ambient air temperatures, it's just not working properly, the unit is going to switch to electric mode. So your customer still has hot water, but the head of the unit will not be functioning, so that can be fixed, but they still have hot water. So it's kind of like a backup system, if you will. So now our ProTerra. So we do have 2 models available, a 15 amp and a 30 amp. So those are indicated on the model numbers by a -15 or a -30. Again, we have the leak sensor kit and the auto shutoff kit that can be added on. Quick note on the 15 amp models. A lot of people question, well, why in the world would you have a 15 amp model? So we've seen a lot of areas where they're either switching out an old electric water heater, maybe had a 3,000 watt element, was utilizing a 20 amp service or a 25 amp service, or someone who is switching from an oil fired water heater that already has 15 amp service running to it, and they want to switch to a more efficient or more environmentally friendly option. They would have to technically or potentially add in electrical infrastructure to do that, right? If they only have 15 or 20 amps available. So if you utilize a 15 amp model, you can use the already existing electrical infrastructure. You don't have to have an electrician come in and either run over another wire or maybe put in a sub panel or whatever that might look like. So it's a nice cost saving feature. Just utilize the 15 amp model, make sure it's sized appropriately for the recovery, and it's a really good option. So we've seen quite a few projects going on in the Northeast where they're utilizing those 15 amp models. And then we have obviously the ProTerra with the leak guard. So with that, all of those models end in -SO. That is for the auto shutoff. So these have the leak guard, auto shutoff, and the leak detection built in to them. So fantastic product. Quick pro tip for this particular model, we do ask that a drain pan be installed with these to eliminate false positives. So again, right down here, this is a red wick. It's absorbent. And so if that were to be sitting, let's say, on a basement or a garage floor and you have an accidental spill or something like that, or even if it was like really humid and there was some condensation going on, that could potentially set off a false positive. So we do ask that that be installed with the drain pan. And for the most time, that's going to be to code to install with the drain pan. But for those who maybe they're doing their own install and it's not going to be to code, or they're in an area where it doesn't matter, please install with that drain pan. All right, so a quick look at the specs. We talked about the UEF going all the way up to a 4.0, which we're really proud of. Even on the 40, 50, and 65 gallons, we're at a 3.75 on that 30 amp model. So that, if you're not familiar with what a UEF is, that's uniform energy factor. A lot of my colleagues will liken that to miles per gallon, right? If you think about a car. So the higher the UEF, it's kind of like the more miles to the gallon. So for every dollar you spend on electricity, you're getting about $3.75 worth of hot water out of it. So it's very efficient. The other thing to note is the elements. So on our 30 amp, they're a 4,500 watt element, and our 15 amp, they're a 2,250 watt element. So if you remember when I was talking about the 15 amp model, I said to make sure, be cautious to size it appropriately because it is going to offer a slower recovery. So make sure if you're going to utilize that 15 amp that you look at those first hour ratings, because it is going to be a much lower wattage on those elements. All right, and then the last thing to note is just the height. These are a little bit taller than our former 50 gallon, and the 40 gallon is actually a little bit taller than that. Your diameters, again, on the 40 gallon, nice small diameter, a little over 20 inches. Your 50 gallon, 22 1/4. So those are going to be pretty comparable to standard 50 gallon on that. Any questions as we're going through? All right, so quick comparison. So we talked about the 15 amp models. So fuel switching, if you're looking to switch from oil, it's going to be a great option. Zero side clearance on these units, so just keep that in mind. If you're going into a tight space, that's going to be a good option, right? You can do ducting, or you could just utilize a louver door, partial louver door. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then certainly your ambient air range. So again, in the Northeast, especially being able to go from anywhere from 37 degrees all the way up to 145 degrees, it gives you a nice low end and a nice high end cutoff on that compressor. So what is the same? So for this, we're really comparing a standard electric water heater to a hybrid heat pump water heater. And this is really a slide geared towards a plumber, okay? So for a plumber, they're going to be concerned. Obviously, they are not electricians. So if they can utilize an already existing power source, that's going to be huge. Transporting on its side. Again, a lot of plumbers don't have a box truck. So in order to get this to the location, they're going to have to lay it down, throw it in the back of their truck or their van. So with these units, you can bring it to the house, set it up, hook it up. There is no wait. With some of our competitors, you have to wait up to 24 hours before you can turn that unit on. So for this, you don't have to worry about that. Just transport it, hook it up, and you're good to go. This unit can be placed up against a wall. So if you're looking at a tight install, closet, utility, something like that, can be placed right up against a wall. The only thing we would say is on the exhaust portion, if you're not ducting it, just make sure it's not pointed at the wall. It's kind of pointed a little bit away from the wall, and that should be fine. And then this right here, 100% plumber serviceable. So when I talk to a lot of the plumbers, this is a really big feature. So as a plumber installing this unit, they don't necessarily want to work on the head of the unit. They may not have their HVAC licensing. They don't want to mess with a compressor or an evaporator. So for our units, we have a 10-year warranty. So for the head of this unit, this top portion right here, the only thing a plumber is going to touch is maybe a sensor or the fan, something that they're comfortable and familiar with. They're not going to touch the compressor or, for that matter, any portion that the refrigerant flows through. So if any portion of that sealed system were to fail, we're going to replace the entire water heater. So we call it 100% plumber serviceable. We do have some commercial units that are available. These are still on our 4th generation platform, but really good light duty application. So it comes in a 50, 65, or 80 gallon capacity. It is a 3-year warranty, only available in 30 amps, but really good for, again, light duty commercial applications, maybe a dentist office, maybe a strip mall where they have some bathrooms, or they don't have a large dump load capacity that's needed, but a fair amount of hot water is needed, and this would be a good fit for that. All right, so let's talk about how the smart technology works. Because a lot of people are like, all right, that's great. How, we understand it's using heat from the air to heat the water. You're talking about different modes of operation. So how is all this kind of coming together? So we do have 5 modes of operation. The default setting is going to be energy saver mode. And so this is going to utilize the heat pump. And then there is some smart technology, which I'll talk about in a second. And it recognizes that it can't keep up with just the heat pump recovering. So it's going to utilize one of the elements to help heat the water faster. So what does that smart technology look like? So we have 4 thermistors on this unit. You have 1 at the cold water inlet, 1 near the lower element, 1 near the upper element, and 1 at the hot water outlet. So what we're doing is we're gauging what is the temperature of the water coming in, how quickly is that cold water coming in, and we're understanding from the temperature differentials in that water heater the call for demand on that unit. So maybe it's one person taking a shower, maybe we're running the dishwasher, maybe someone's running a load of clothes and they're using hot water to do that. So it's understanding all those things, and it says, hey, I can't keep up with just the heat pump. I'm going to have to kick in an element to help recover faster. So what is the recovery on a heat pump? So if we're in heat pump only mode, delivers on the low end about 1,200 watts of recovery. On the high end, closer to 1,800 or 2,000 watts of recovery. And that's going to be based typically off of the humidity and the temperature of the air. So that'll fluctuate a little bit. But on the low end, 1,200 watts of recovery. So again, a little bit lower recovery. But you can run in heat pump only mode. We do have a high demand mode, so that's going to utilize the heat pump. It's also going to utilize the upper element as needed, and it can run those simultaneously. So that's going to be the difference between energy saver mode and high demand mode. High demand mode, you could technically get the fastest recovery. We do have electric only mode. It's going to shut off the compressor and only utilize the element. And then vacation mode. So you can either go to the user interface on the water heater and put it in vacation mode, or you can program that through the app and actually program it to turn on or turn off or out of vacation mode for certain days. So I really like this chart. It's a nice comparison of your mode of operation versus the efficiency and recovery of that. A lot of times, this is great for a homeowner or a business owner to understand if I put it in this mode, what's going to be the effect. So if we have an electric only mode, typically a lower efficiency because it's utilizing 4,500 watts of power, but it's going to offer a faster recovery. High demand mode is going to utilize the heat pump. Elements will kick in as needed, potentially simultaneous. So we'll get a medium level of efficiency, but a very fast recovery. Energy saver mode, again, that's the default. So it's going to utilize the heat pump and the elements as needed. High efficiency with the fast recovery, and then heat pump only, not utilizing the elements at all. So really in your heat pump, you're utilizing only 300 to 400 watts of power. Very, very efficient, very good fit if you're combining with solar, right? Very, very high efficiency, but again, a slower recovery, anywhere from 1,200 to about 2,000 watts of recovery. Hopefully that's making sense. So we do have a user interface. This is looking at, oops, sorry guys, I went a little too quick. So the user interface, if we're looking at the water heater itself, so we can turn the unit on and off, right? We can change our temperature settings by going up or down. right from the unit. You can go up to 140 degrees. From the phone, you can go up to 140 degrees. If you wanted to go above that, you could push your up and down arrows simultaneously. It's going to unlock it, and you can max out at 150 degrees. You can change your mode of operation from here. If you didn't utilize the app, you could go here and change it to your different modes of operation. So what I want to show you is we have different settings that are available as well. And some of these are new, which we're really excited about. So on our older units, if you had an alert notification that popped up, like say there was a leak, let's say one of the elements wasn't working, there was some kind of indication that the water heater wasn't functioning 100% properly, you'd get this beeping noise. So now you can have the option to turn off that beeping noise if you so choose. And we're going to scroll through really quick to talk about some of these things. You can change all of these settings right on the user interface, but I want to get to the last one, so I'm going to skip ahead really quick, guys. So, and again, clear history. These are all things you can do right from the settings. But we talked about, if you remember, that middle grade ProTerra product where you can add an auto shut off to it. So it's really important if you're adding that shut off kit to it that you go in. If this was out of the box, it was going to say no because it doesn't have a shut off valve installed with it. If you add that on, you need to go in, select yes, and hit enter, and that's going to let the water heater know that now there is an auto shut off valve installed with it. So just keep that in mind. All right, so this is kind of what your user interface looks like. We're showing our 120-degree temperature. Anything above 120 degrees, we see that scald risk. And then I want to talk about the last thing that we added in, our test mode. So again, this is a newer feature that we just added in. I think this is great for those who are servicing the unit, right? So again, we had voice of the customers. We talked to plumbers, homeowners, distributors, business owners, and said, hey, what's important to you? And so a lot of plumbers said, hey, it'd be really great if we could identify quickly which component there's an issue with. So we have what's called a test mode. So what it is, test mode allows for individually isolating each component. So just as an example, plumber goes out to the job, the water heater is not heating in energy saver mode. So you might have 4 or 5 different components that play into that. Well, we want to quickly identify which component isn't functioning properly so that it can be corrected and fixed, save the plumber a lot of time out on the job. So all they got to do, they're going to run it in test mode to individually isolate each component. So let's see if we can get this to work here. There we go. So all they're going to do, my apologies. So all they're going to do is they're going to hold down the mode and the next key at the same time. It's going to put it in test mode, and then they're going to scroll through so they can select which component they want to test. So just as an example, we're going to test the upper element. We hit enter. It's going to run it. And if you remember, we said it's going to be based off of the amp draw. So they look at the amp draw on that. Hey, it's good. We move on to the next component. It's not what the amp draw should be. Upper element's not functioning properly. We can swap it out. All right, how are we doing on time here? We're doing perfect. So this is just going to kind of tie it up. We'll talk about the marathon for a couple minutes, and then I'll hand it over to Tracy. So really quick on the installation, this hasn't changed from our 4th generation to our 5th generation. It's pretty similar for all competitors as well. Everyone needs about 700 cubic feet for that heat exchange to take place. So open garage, open basement, that's going to be fine. If you don't have that, let's say this is going into a small utility closet or some situation similar to that, we have some options if you don't have 700 cubic feet. So we have option 2 right here, partial louver door, 3/4 inch gap. The only thing we ask, if you look at this diagram here, remember I said that exhaust should just be kind of pointed in the general direction of your louver door. Creates a nice circulation. You have enough air volume for that heat exchange to take place. Option 3 would be a full louver door or 2 louvers at top and bottom. And that would, again, give you enough airflow for that to work. So if we don't have either of those, sorry, I put this in the wrong order. If we don't have either of those options, then we can duct. So these do come ductable. You do have to purchase these little adapters aftermarket if you need to duct. But you can go, as you can see, all the way up to 340 feet on 8-inch rigid ducting, 125 feet on 8-inch flexible ducting. You do have to take into account if you have any 90 degrees or angles or anything like that. But with that being said, those are pretty nice long lengths. I can't imagine that you wouldn't be able to duct as needed. Only thing to keep in mind, you do need 6 inches above this unit. Remember, we talked about cleaning out that filter. So 6 inches of space to access that filter. And that's really the only clearance that we need on these units. So we'll go back really quick. So something to note, if you look into the use and care manual, we say that you can utilize PEX right here for that first part of the connection. And the reason we recommend the PEX is for sound dampening and vibration noise. So for some people, they might get some vibration. It might play up the harmonics of the house. But to code, there are many places that local code says you can't use PEX within the first 18 inches. So what we say is check with your local code. If you're allowed to use the PEX, use it. If not, go with your hard piping, but just be aware of the fact that you will get a little bit better sound dampening capabilities if you utilize the PEX for those first 18 inches. So the other thing to note, we've had questions before. Remember I said we recommend on those ProTerra with leak guard models to utilize the drain pan. Some people have questioned because of the cold water connection being on the side and because of your auto shutoff being on the side over here. Standard drain pan is going to work. Just make sure that your height on that is less than 2 inches. It'll fit underneath that cold water inlet and you'll be good to go. So any questions on that? I can't see the chat box, so I'm hoping if there's any questions coming in, you guys let me know.
No questions yet.
All right, no questions yet. So we do have kits available, right? So if you needed to do a termination kit, ducting kit, all of those things are available. We're working with our local distributors to make sure that per the region that you're in, whatever you need for that region will be available. Obviously, West Coast, we have the earthquake and vibration isolation kits available too. So really quick to talk about the incentives. So with Efficiency Vermont, with these units, you can get a $600 instant or mail-in incentive, right, for Vermont customers. There is an additional $200 bonus for Green Mountain customers. Also, $200 moderate income. So for a lower or to moderate income, there is $200 bonus that's available. And if you're a WEC customer, there is a $150 bill credit that is available. So really, really good incentives that are available in the state of Vermont. These incentives are available for those commercial models as well. So I would say take advantage of those fantastic rebates. It definitely brings the cost of these units comparable to what a standard electric water heater would be. So Cooper, did you want to talk really quick about this slide? If you're still here.
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with the rebates. Just keeping in mind that you basically provide the installation address, and given that it's in Vermont and a Green Mountain Power customer, they can get access to the extra $200. And but really straightforward process and great way to bring the price down, so the customer doesn't have to front the upfront costs and wait for a rebate. So like you said, kind of brings it down to the price of a comparable electric unit.
Perfect. So, and certainly feel free to visit the website, efficiencyvermont.com rebates, and that has more information as well. All right, so that kind of wraps it up for the ProTerra. Again, highest efficiency on the market, fantastic tank product. So I want to talk really quick about a different electric solution, Marathon water heaters, and this is only going to be like a quick 5 minutes. So what Marathon is, it's been around probably since the 1950s, an American-made product that is very lightweight. It is an all-plastic tank. So that's where it's very lightweight. So it's seamless blow molded polybutene tank on the outside, on the inside, polyethylene tough molded outer shell. Does come with a full flow brass drain valve. It's impervious to rust. So really the important thing about this is if you're thinking about an area where electric is a good option and it's probably bad water, right? So think about if you were getting that rotten egg smell. This doesn't have an anode rod in it because it's not a metal tank. It doesn't need the anode rod. So it's going to help to reduce or eliminate that rotten egg smell that's usually caused by that magnesium rod that's in there. Also, if you just have bad water in general, where it's got a lot of minerals and different things, this is going to be a really good fit. So this is kind of what it looks like from the inside. 2.5 inches of insulation. So it has very little standby heat loss. It's a nice product there. It is bowl shaped on the bottom. So again, this is a lifetime warranty in a residential application. So we want to make sure that it's going to be easily serviced. So that bowl shape right there allows to help flush out that unit periodically. We do have a titanium lower element. Again, we're recognizing that these tanks are going to be out there for a long time and usually being installed in places with well water, kind of outside of the city limits. We see a lot of these going in. So that titanium lower element to help for robust life of that. All right, so models that are available, we do have the standard residential, the MR, Marathon Residential, available in 30, 40, and 50 gallon capacities. We do have a short version that's available as well. So all of those are lifetime warranty. It's 10 years out of the box. You register it online, and it's a lifetime warranty. Then we do have the MHD series. So this is Marathon Heavy Duty. It's more of a commercial product, available in 75, 85, and 105 gallon capacities. Those actually, if installed in a residential application, even though they're not for that use, but if they were installed in a residential application, those can also get a lifetime warranty when registered online. So just keep that in mind. Just another option that's available. Again, well water, hard water, rotten egg smell, any of those types of situations, it's a really, really good fit for that. So with that, I am going to, we'll open it up if anyone has questions, and I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that Tracy can get set up, and he's going to talk about our Emax product lines that are available. So Tracy, if you want to go ahead and get yourself set up on that.
Okay, are we sharing?
Beautiful, we can see it.
We can see it. Okay, we're in a good place. So, Diane, thank you for all that. I've learned more about ProTerra than I ever knew in the past. Great product. If you could watch the chat box for me, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy Smith. I'm the training center lead at Emax, and today we're going to do a very high level overview of tankless electric water heating. Now, I'm going to be speaking to the Emax brand, but I want to point out that virtually all of the products that you see today are available Rheem branded as well. So if your favorite distributor is an Emax distributor or a Rheem distributor, you can get these products through your normal channels. The part numbers will change, obviously, but we are able to help you. And since we're going to go at such a quick pace, I want to invite you to contact me directly if you have any questions going forward. So grab a pen and take this down, because unfortunately I didn't load a slide for this, but my email is Tracy, that's TRACY .Smith. There's an easy one to spell, SMITH, at emax.com. Tracy, TRACY .Smith at emax.com. And let's get started. And we're going to review the benefits of tankless electric water heating, a short word on sustainability, and we're going to focus on residential and hand washing products. So let's just take a look and start with hand washing, because electric tankless water heating is not just for hand washing anymore. And it's true, that's how Emax started way back in 1985, but Emax has come a long way since those early days, because you can find Emax product just about anywhere. Specifically, single and multifamily housing and mixed use developments. We're really big in wastewater treatment plants, in safety products. Sports stadiums are a fantastic fit for electric tankless water heatings. I'll explain why in just a bit. Again, with schools and university, and with our large units, manufacturing takes advantage of electric tankless water heating in automotive, aerospace, food service, locations that you wouldn't necessarily think that tankless electric is a good choice, but it is. So if you come across a project or a problem out there and you say to yourself, I'm sorry, sir, but I don't have an answer to your hot water heating problem, what I'd rather you to say is, let me make a phone call, and we can get our Emax experts and engineering staff involved and come up with a solution. And if we can't, we also have the resources of the Rheem Hot Water Heating Division with Diane and her crew as well. Emax is proud to be part of the first net zero emissions school in Massachusetts with 163 units. Lead for school gold certification, and this again is in concert with solar heating as well, as you can see on the slide. It's a big facility, and we were very proud to be part of that unit. So if you're thinking solar, you can also think Emax. And a word about sustainability. Sustainability, of course, is big in Vermont, but it's also big for Emax and Rheem because we are dealing with Rheem sustainability pillars of degrees of innovation, and we're innovating with lifetime sustainability in mind. Material selection, smart features, as you just saw earlier with ProTerra, all the way to responsible recycling. We're looking for degrees of efficiency. Again, ProTerra is a leading example of that. However, tankless electric water heating generally will give you 99.5% UEF efficiencies. That's the best efficiency you can get from traditional hot water heating methods. And again, that means everything excluding ProTerra. We're also looking at degrees of leadership because Emax and Rheem believe that we need to build a thriving industry workforce, and we're supporting the recruitment and the empowerment of tomorrow's plumbers, contractors, so we can both go forward together. If you're interested, we do have a video sitting on YouTube with Rheem sustainability and zero waste involved. So at Emax, we are integrating sustainable thinking into everything we do. We're dedicated to doing our part to protect our environment, and we're committed to leading the way with intelligent products. And you're going to see just exactly what I mean by intelligent products as soon as we start talking about hand washing solutions. Now, we have a number of products that will address almost any hand washing application. And with COVID-19 being so prominent these days, hand washing demand has exploded, as I'm sure you are all aware. And we've got a lot of different ways to satisfy that demand. And here's three big reasons as to how Emax products help you solve with a better solution for hand washing products. We can eliminate recirculation loops, because every time I say recirculation loop, yeah, I'm having a hard time saying it right now. Recirculation loop, I want you to think expensive. Recirculation loops are very convenient. You get hot water in a very, very short amount of time, but they are very expensive to run and to install. Since we have a large reduction of energy savings by eliminating recirculation loops, we're also reducing energy and water waste by installing the units close to the point of use. More on that in a minute. And we take all those so we save time and money. So, common hand washing features. Lab Advantage is our premier product for hand washing, and that has a field adjustable temperature setting of 70 to 140 degrees. We also offer S models for special situations that can go all the way to 180 degrees. And we also have a specialized EE option where we can set the maximum temperature of 90 degrees for eye wash applications. Compact size, lightweight, makes these units very easy to install. Energy management is available on thermostatic units, which means the heater only uses the exact amount of energy that it needs to raise the temperature of the water to the set point temperature required, and no more. Self-diagnostics and a 5-position fault code on our thermostatic units make troubleshooting quick and easy, often without the need of a multimeter. And here's something that the competition just cannot offer. You can mount the Emax hand washing product line in any orientation. The standard configuration, as you see on the screen here, with the water outlets on the bottom or on the side or even upside down on its back. There's lots of mounting flexibility. And of course, the last is Safe Start technology, which inhibits heater operation for the first 15 seconds of operation after it sees electricity and water running simultaneously. More on that in just a moment. We have flow meter technology in our products, which means we can mount these units in any orientation, meaning you're going to see that mounting flexibility in the standard or the our traditional mounting or with water fittings up or water fittings on the side really aids in the replacement of competitor products. So we talked about Safe Start just a moment ago. We inhibit the occurrence of dry fire on initial startup because the heating element cannot turn on for the first 15 seconds after the heater sees moving water and electricity for the initial startup. Only then will hot water start. This is a great feature for when we have multiple trades working on a new building install where the plumber will get there, the electrician will get there. They're not really coordinating their efforts, and when that happens, we will typically burn out the element for the dry fire on initial startup. That cannot happen with Safe Start. Comparing Emax products against the competition, you see extremely low turn-ons from Emax product, silent operation, safe start with safe calibration, all orientation, installation flexibility, a display, and advanced energy management. Emax is leading the way in the competitive landscape of hand washing products. So we offer 3 product families in hand washing, a good, better, best scenario, if you would: Lab Advantage, Accumix, and Flowco. And I'm going to touch on each of these very briefly. Your go-to for most hand washing is going to be Lab Advantage. Lab Advantage is a thermostatic heater, which is ideal for hand washing, fixed flow, and variable flow applications. It's easy to install and very easy to use with 3/8-inch compression fittings. And we just talked about Safe Start, dry fire protection, an improved user experience, and you can access the model controls with just a few clicks. And it is available, it comes standard with diagnostic fault codes to aid in troubleshooting, often without the use of a multimeter. Accumix 2 is a thermostat heater with an integrated mixing valve. Now, why would we need an integrated mixing valve with the water heater? Well, this would be for any situation where you need to be code compliant to UPC 407.3. You can mount this unit in any orientation, and it is ideal for sensor or metering faucets in a public hand washing application. Finally, we have Flowco. Flowco is a non-thermostatic heater with responsive flow-controlled tankless electric technology, which gives you endless hot water on demand. Notice I said endless. All of our tankless electric water products are an endless hot water on demand solution. And it is the only non-thermostatic product on the market that features InfoQ that will give you system status and operational feedback. I know I'm going very quickly. I apologize for that, but we do have installation videos on YouTube for Lab Advantage, Accumix, and Flowco. So please feel free, go to YouTube, search Emax, go to the Emax channel, and you can see just how easy it is to install any of these units. So we don't have enough time today to take a deep dive into commercial units, but I just wanted to mention that Emax has a great portfolio in commercial products. So please reach out to your Efficiency Vermont partners and to your Rheem partners as well. Emax can help you with our representatives in Vermont as well, and we can show you how tankless electric water heating can be, in many cases, a great solution for commercial heating products, such as point of use electric water heating. We are located in many stadiums across the country for luxury boxes and lavatory applications. Stadiums only get used very infrequently. A lot of downtime and a lot of idle time is present in stadium applications when a tankless electric water heater, an Emax tankless electric water heater, or a Rheem electric tankless water heater is not in use. Your energy consumption is zero. Light commercial use is also a a big application. I'm thinking hair salons, nail salons, strip malls, things like that. Heavy commercial, as I said earlier, we have a fine presence in heavy commercial, most notably in the safety shower and eye wash applications. And there they are. But now I'm going to talk a bit about residential products. So we have whole home solutions where uh, maybe a tank isn't the best answer. Well, let's consider a whole home solution. There were changes brought about in the tank industry because of NACA 3. Well, that would be in reduced tank capacity and possible unhappy customers. So I've got a solution for that as well. And if we're dealing with remote sink locations, think COVID-19 and hand washing, I've got a solution for you for that as well. So let's take a look at all of these. We service the residential hot water heating market with Home Advantage 2. We also provide mini tanks as 120 volt solutions, and we will spend a little bit of time talking about Auto Booster to increase the capacity of your hot water tank. Now, we're going to look at all three of these solutions, starting with Home Advantage 2. It is a whole house and point of use residential application that delivers instant, consistent, and endless hot water. We feature digital control in 1 degree increments, and it has patented self-modulating technology. That means when there is no demand for hot water, there is no expense. Think vacation homes. Again, vacation homes with a lot of idle time. Think Home Advantage 2. It has a very stylish design for placement in any home, and we can deliver this product to you for 8 to 36 kilowatts in capacity. Now, as I said, endless hot water, eliminating cold showers. As long as you supply running water and running electrons, you will not run out of hot water. You can install directly at the point of use or use it as a whole home tank replacement when the unit is sized correctly. And with any tankless electric product, there is no venting required. That means the heater can be installed close to the point of use, which means a very fast time to temperature response, which means low water waste, a very, very efficient answer to hot water heating problems. As I said, we're only drawing power when we use hot water, and by eliminating recirculation or by installing the unit at the point of use, we can eliminate long pipe runs. And here's how it works. Water comes in through the inlet pipe, and the flow sensor determines the flow rate. The Home Advantage 2 units activate at 0.3 GPM. We read the temperature of the water, and the flow and the control board calculates how many kilowatts of heating power are needed instantaneously using the inlet water temperature, the gallons per minute flow rate, and the desired outlet temperature, and turns on the heating elements to deliver the exact amount of heating power needed at that specific time. When the demand goes away, the water gets turned off, so does the heating power. So we spoke briefly about a 120 volt solution, and think COVID-19, so think mini tank. It gives you reliable hot water where you need it, whenever you can give us a 120 volt convenience outlet, and cold water, you can have a hand washing station. We have 4 different sizes to fit virtually any hand washing application. Those are 1.5, 2.5, 4, and 6 gallon models. They all include a cord and a plug for an easy installation. They all come with the temperature and pressure valve. And for those places where you want to mount the unit on a wall, we include a mounting plate. And this is ideal for low volume hand washing, especially when your hand washing station is fitted with a 0.35 or 0.5 aerator. Features and benefits: we can eliminate a long hot water pipe run with a mini tank. And for this, let's think about outdoor kitchens. When we have a summer home or a home with an outdoor kitchen, consider a mini tank out there as opposed to a massive hot water pipe run. Small design, fits virtually anywhere. We had a byline for the 1.5 gallon unit when it was introduced, and that byline was, "It fits where others don't." So, hot water where you need it. You can install these units with a hot or a cold water feed, which means you have the option of installing this unit as a booster. So, glass line tank, not often found in very small units such as this, with a magnesium anode rod, not an aluminum anode rod, but a magnesium anode rod. We talked about a variety of applications: pleasure boats, food trucks, and the outdoor kitchen, isolated location, as mentioned earlier. All are great applications for mini tanks. But again, the big application right now, COVID-19 hand washing, and of course the booster application. The current generation of mini tanks features a high limit reset button right on the cover of the unit. Looking inside, the anode rod and heating element come out as an assembly for easy repair in the field. So here's a few applications. We talked about standalone heating with one mini tank, one faucet. Well, let's talk about two faucets and one mini tank. Sure, you can do that. We talked about a booster application, eliminating that long pipe run for that hot water feed from your centralized tank. You can have hot water instantly with a mini tank installed directly under the point of use. And in the cases of a gas tankless water heater, we can eliminate the cold water sandwich with instantaneous hot water using a 6-gallon mini tank as a buffer tank in these installations. A lot of versatility with many mini tanks. Great options. Now, finally, the last item I'd like to talk about in our residential line are auto boosters. And again, as I mentioned, this product is available as a Rheem branded unit as well, because auto booster sits on an existing tank, an existing hot water tank. It'll work with either a gas or an electric tank, and it's perfect for situations where you need more hot water. However, because of physical installations, NACA 3 requirements, you can't go with a larger tank or even the same size tank as what you're replacing because it just won't fit, or you just don't have the amp capacity to go full tankless. Features and benefits: you can increase deliverable hot water up to 45% with an auto booster. It's a small, easy to install, compact design with a digital user face. It talks to you in English, no codes to have to memorize. It is certified UL 499, as is all of our Emax products. That is the gold standard for tankless electric water heating products. And we have software built in that features vacation mode, a freeze protect mode, and an eco mode. Vacation mode maintains a temperature of 55 degrees while you're away. Again, great for vacation homes. Freeze protect will override vacation mode to make sure that the unit does not get into a freeze condition. And eco mode is a time of day setting where we can tell the unit to turn the tank off during times, let's say, when you have time of day electrical pricing, where you pay a higher price per kilowatt during the day and a lower price at night. Well, we'll just turn the tank on at night and see energy savings there. Typical installations: the hot water tank you'll see, electric tank you'll see on the left, using the existing hot water heater wiring, powering the auto booster. Now, this means it's a one trade install. No need to call in an electrician to install auto booster on an existing electric tank. However, with a gas tank, or if you wanted the benefits of auto booster with a very smart tank like ProTerra, we would recommend the addition of a dedicated 30 amp line for auto booster. Now, the best way to describe the auto booster impact and efficiency is to think about a 20-gallon unit giving you the performance of a 30-gallon. A 30-gallon is going to perform like a 40-gallon. Again, 40 is a 50, and so on and so on. So,
Hey, Tracy, can we just
yes,
interrupt for one second? So we had a question pop up in the chat room. Alan has
great.
asked, could you use an auto booster with a combi boiler system?
An auto booster with a combi boiler. The combi boiler will not have a 30 amp circuit available to it, so it will require the additional electrical wiring. So the answer is yes. You could, if you wanted to, install the additional wiring. However, I would much rather have you consider this solution: a 6-gallon mini tank coming off of your combi boiler for instant hot water as the combi boiler fires up and goes through its startup routine. This is a much more common solution for the situation you're talking about, and it is indeed a very, very good solution. That's a great question. Thank you very much. Let's continue on where we were. Okay, there we are. So you'll think of Auto Booster as a tank extender, not a tank amplifier. We do not want to consider Auto Booster for an installation where we have a very high water demand, like a shower panel or body sprays or rainfall shower heads, things like that. Auto Booster is not your answer for those applications. It is, however, a great answer where you just happen to be the third person that showers in the morning and you're running out of hot water. This is where Auto Booster really shines. So, how would you like to be the guy that has to replace this tank? Well, he's not going to have a good day, not at all. So, you're going to find that you're not going to be able to find the same capacity tank as this lowboy on this installation. It's most likely going to be a lower capacity tank, so good chance we're going to have a dissatisfied owner and tenant. So this is a great application for Auto Booster. Great application. We see a lot of these in the greater New York City area and multifamily housing and the like. We run an entire training session on tankless electric sizing. And we don't have time to go through sizing right now. It's just way too much to have to deal with. But let me assure you, it's not difficult to size for an electric tankless water heater. It's just different. It's just different. We're using different variables to come up with a different answer. And I'll just give you a very, very quick example of that. We must know the desired outlet temperature. Inlet water temperature we need to know, and we can help you with that specification as well. And we need to know the maximum flow rate in GPM. And then once we find those, we can point you toward an exact model by knowing the voltage and phase and amps available. Phase and amps, a phase is always used in commercial units, never used in residential applications. So to get the right heater sized, we need accurate information, but it doesn't have to be precise. This is not a game of precision. Close enough is good enough. So it all comes down to one chart. If we know our temperature rise, which is the difference between our expected hot water temperature and our inlet temperature, we get our temperature rise, as you see here on the x-axis on the bottom, and we know our gallon per minute demand, we can see just how large a heater we need for a particular application. Now, this chart does not apply to mini tank or auto booster. This is strictly for tankless electric hot water heating. So if we have let's say we have a 2 GPM, a 2 GPM kitchen sink that we want to supply a hot water heater for, and we have a 60-degree rise in temperature, we need an 18 kilowatt heater. It's as simple as that. Chart's not available? Use this very simple formula here. It'll get you your answer in a heartbeat. You can also go to our website to see the sizing guide, or to emax.com, or you can always call technical support. They're always there ready to help you. And where are we how do we get Emax support? Well, phone, fax. Phone is the biggie, of course, but let's not forget email, which is emax.support@emax.com. Okay, there it is. 1-800-543-6163, option 2. We can help you with sizing, troubleshooting, and crossover help. If you're replacing a competitor's model, we can absolutely positively help you. If you're interested in future training events, we would be happy to help you. Send an email to emax.learning@emax.com. We can help you with any question associated with tankless electric water heating, and we can also refer any inquiries in the tank type world, gas world, to our friends at Rheem Water Heating Division. Again, we are here to help you. Okay, we mentioned product installation videos and other videos that are available on YouTube, and of course you can also follow us on social media, on any of the social media websites, spreading the word on tankless electric water heating. And you too can become an Emax ambassador by attending one of our training sessions. And that just about does it for me. So Diane, I will give it back to you.
Hey, thanks, Tracy. That was really cool. I wasn't really too familiar with those little mini tanks. Those are pretty cool technology.
They
So
are.
again, yeah, that was awesome. So again, purpose of this was a nice overview of electric solutions that are available in the market. A lot of times people think electric equals a 40 or 50-gallon tank. And there's a lot more that is available on the market. So certainly this wasn't a technical, it was more of here's what's available that you can utilize when you're looking to reduce your carbon footprint, combine with solar, or just looking for a different electric solution than what we typically see utilized in the marketplace. So if you would like more technical training, to Tracy's point, he didn't get into any of the nitty gritty of what a tankless electric would look like as far as how to size it, installation, servicing. If you're looking for any more technical information, whether it's on tankless or tank, if you were looking for more technical on the ProTerra, we could certainly do a much more in-depth type training on that. Connect with us. Tracy, just so you know, I put your email in the chat box so everyone has access to that.
Fantastic.
But I'll put mine
Thank
as
you for
well
that.
there.
Okay.
I'll put it in mine. So certainly feel free to reach out to Tracy or myself if you have questions, if you want follow-up training on any of those things, more technically speaking. We will be doing another training at 3 o'clock today covering the same product material. So if you know of anyone else who you think maybe would want to learn a little bit more about some of those options that are available. Tracy, I was really impressed with that school in Massachusetts where they're combining solar with the tankless electric solutions. That's really what we're looking to do with these types of trainings, is just to promote the technology that's available. We know Massachusetts, Vermont, New York, they have really, really awesome sustainability goals that are in place. And so we're saying, well, how do we do that? How can we utilize these technologies to create these better, more efficient commercial and residential solutions? So,
and if I can add, Diane, our trainings are not specific to plumbers, contractors, although that is a target market for us. We are very interested in speaking with plumbing engineers and architects, and that's what happened with the Net Zero School in Massachusetts. We were able to work with the architects for a complete solution to their hot water heating needs, getting in right before pen hit paper. And we're able to work with them to provide the solutions, because many of our friends in the architect and plumbing engineering world are not experts in tankless electric water heating, and we are, and we're looking to expand that knowledge to that base. And one last thing I want to I'd like to mention while I've got you is COVID-19 will not last forever. Yes, this too shall pass. We will get out of our houses someday. And when that day comes, okay, I'd like to invite you all to our learning center in Waterbury, Connecticut, where we do hands-on training on ProTerra and on the entire suite of Emax and Rheem electric tankless water heating products, because let's face it, the best way to learn is by doing. And we're happy to do that. We can set aside a curriculum to match your needs and to get right down into taking apart and troubleshooting, because I just love to take a number of units and booby trap them and try to figure out what the problem is. That's always a lot of fun. That makes for an interesting day, and we will make you Emax ambassadors. It turns out to be a fun day, and again, once COVID-19 is gone, please come down.
Yeah, we're really excited to get those innovation learning centers open. We're playing it by ear right now, but as soon as they're open, we'll definitely be connecting with people, and it's a fantastic facility. So other than that, we'd like to open it up if anyone has other questions. I know Alan had asked about the booster with the combi, but if anyone else on the call, certainly feel free to unmute or to, tap it out into the chat box. Other than that, thank you guys so much. We appreciate your time this morning. We will be back again at 3 o'clock. So again, if anyone else that you know of is curious about learning about some other options that are available, send them on over to the training, and we'd appreciate it. So thank you so much for your time today.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Tracy.
Hey, thanks, Cooper.
You bet. Bye-bye.
And Cooper, it looks like you recorded this, so it'll be available on the VEIC website as well at some point.
It will be, yep. And so it'll be, available for people after the fact. And like Diane said, if you know of anyone that might be interested, certainly, even if they can't make the training this afternoon, it will be up on the website and something people can look back on if they come across this as a potential solution in the future as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cooper.
Thank you, Cooper.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.